The restaurant had fallen silent long before anyone realized why. It was one of those upscale places where crystal glasses caught the chandelier light like diamonds and every whispered conversation floated gently above soft violin music, but that night, something else floated in the air, tension so thick it felt like smoke. The doors had opened without drama, yet every head turned at once. 3 men walked in first, dressed in dark tailored suits that fit like armor. Behind them came the man no one needed introduced. He did not rush. He did not look around nervously. He walked like the floor belonged to him. Alessandro Moretti, though most people in the city simply called him Il Capo. The Mafia boss. A man whose name was spoken carefully, as if syllables themselves were afraid of him. He chose a table in the center of the restaurant without asking. The manager appeared instantly, smiling too hard, bowing too low. No one argued. No one complained. Power does not need permission. It takes space. And Alessandro Moretti had just taken the entire room. He sat down slowly, adjusting his cufflinks, his sharp gray eyes scanning faces with the calm of a predator who has never known defeat. The room tried to return to normal. Forks lifted. Conversations resumed in cautious murmurs. But everyone knew something important was unfolding. His men stood behind him like statues. He did not open the menu. He did not need to. He simply spoke, in Italian. Portami qualcosa che mi ricordi casa. Non una copia. La cosa vera. His voice was smooth, controlled, but carried an authority that vibrated in the chest. Bring me something that reminds me of home. Not an imitation. The real thing. The manager blinked. The head waiter froze. The staff looked at each other in panic. They did not understand. Moretti leaned back slightly, watching the confusion ripple like cracks across glass. He repeated himself, slower this time, still in Italian, his tone sharpening just a fraction. Non fatemi ripetere. Don't make me repeat myself. The silence deepened. One of his bodyguards shifted his stance. A fork dropped somewhere in the dining area and clattered loudly against porcelain. No one moved to answer him. And then, from the far end of the restaurant, near the service station where new staff usually stood unnoticed, a soft but steady voice replied in fluent Italian. Se desidera qualcosa che ricordi casa, signore, allora deve essere cucinato con pazienza. La fretta rovina tutto. If you want something that reminds you of home, sir, it must be cooked with patience. Rushing ruins everything. The room stopped breathing. Every head turned toward the source. She was just a waitress. Or at least, that's what everyone had assumed. Her name tag read, Sophia. She couldn't have been more than 24. Dark hair pulled back neatly. Simple black uniform. No jewelry. No dramatic makeup. But her posture was straight, and her eyes did not drop when Alessandro Moretti looked at her. He studied her. Really studied her. For the first time since walking in, something shifted in his expression. Interest. Dove say? He asked calmly. Where are you from? She stepped forward, ignoring the terrified look from her manager. Napoli, signore. Quartiere Spagnoli. Naples. Spanish quarters. A few of his men exchanged glances. That neighborhood was not a detail you casually invented. Moretti's fingers tapped once on the table. E tuo padre? And your father? There it was. The question wasn't about geography. It was about allegiance. The restaurant felt like it was balancing on a knife's edge. Sophia didn't hesitate. Pescatori, she said softly. Ma un uomo onesto. A fisherman. But an honest man. Something flickered in Moretti's eyes, something dangerously close to memory. He leaned forward slightly. Le persone oneste non sopravvivono a lungo a Napoli. Honest people don't survive long in Naples. And that was when she did the unthinkable. She smiled, not mockingly, not nervously, but knowingly. Solo quelli che hanno paura non sopravvivono. Only those who are afraid don't survive. One of the bodyguards stepped forward instantly. Too far. Too bold. But Moretti raised a single finger. The bodyguard stopped. The power in that small gesture was absolute. The entire restaurant now understood something profound. This was no longer about food. This was a test. And somehow, the waitress was passing. Moretti leaned back again, eyes never leaving hers. Portami quello che mangeresti tu, quando ti manca casa. Bring me what you would eat, when you miss home. The manager looked like he might faint. But Sofia nodded once. Si, signore. She turned and walked toward the kitchen. Only when she disappeared behind the swinging doors did the restaurant release a collective breath. Inside the kitchen, chaos exploded. Are you crazy? The head chef hissed. Do you know who that is? She did. Of course she did. Everyone did. Alessandro Moretti did not visit places by accident. And he did not test strangers without purpose. But Sofia's hands were steady as she reached for ingredients. Fresh tomatoes. Garlic. Olive oil. Basil. Seafood. Simple. Authentic. No theatrics. As she cooked, memories surfaced: Naples at sunset, her father's weathered hands pulling nets from the sea, her mother humming softly while stirring sauce in a chipped pot. She cooked not for the Mafia boss. She cooked for home. Back in the dining room, Moretti remained still. But inside his mind, calculations moved rapidly. No fear. No hesitation. Correct dialect. Correct neighborhood. Correct attitude. Either she was incredibly brave. Or incredibly connected. Or incredibly dangerous.